Oais Menzelby, founder of Youth Against Violence. I'm here today to speak about two incidences that occurred in New South Wales yesterday, Sunday, the 29th of May 2022. There were two tragic incidences that happened in New South Wales. One incident unfolded at 3:45 a.m. in Redfern, and the other unfolded that evening at around about 5:30 p.m. in Casino. I'm here today to release our statement as Youth Against Violence, but also a plea to those in power. Just a bit of info about the incidences that happened yesterday. The first one being in Redfern. Authorities were called to Norfolk Hotel in Redfern around about 3:45 p.m. They were called due to a result of a supposed brawl that had occurred. Following that, they were also called to a nearby location where they located three young males, one aged 18, the other aged 19, and the other aged 20. All three males were suffering stab wounds, two in a critical condition and one in a stable condition. Two of those are still fighting for life today as we speak, and the conditions are yet to be updated. It was said to be a targeted attack, and the people or persons that was involved in these stabbings has yet to be caught by police. Police have released their statement yesterday following the incident, and that can be found on their website or other news agencies. The other incident unfolded later that evening in Casino, where a 17-year-old was located with stab wounds. Now, authorities were called to that location at approximately 5:30 p.m. To a KFC in Casino. At that particular time, the young person who suffered stab wounds was a 17-year-old. The young person tragically died on the scene and could not be saved. Another 18-year-old male was also located with stab wounds. He was taken to Lismore Hospital, and his condition remains stable. Now, these incidences are a very big highlight to our knife culture here in New South Wales, but also in Australia. Recently, we've heard of a machete attack in Melbourne, and we keep hearing of knife violence across Australia. And now we've had two separate incidences of knife violence in New South Wales, and it has sadly and tragically taken the life of a 17-year-old. Enough is enough. We always stress this message, and we're always here to advocate against the youth violence and knife carrying culture that is occurring here in New South Wales, but throughout Australia. I'm outside the New South Wales Police Headquarters today, just finished a few things, and I'd like to say that Youth Against Violence will work closely and cooperatively with New South Wales Police, as well as the New South Wales Government and the federal government. We were recently told that this issue is not a federal issue. However, we believe otherwise, and we have the research to believe otherwise. And therefore, leaders, federal leaders especially, need to start taking this issue seriously. We don't want to end up like the UK or the US in terms of violence amongst our youth. We don't want it to get to an uncontrollable level, as the incidences that have unfolded in the last year alone here in New South Wales, here in Australia, they are increasing. There is evidence that shows that it is increasing, and we just see it too regularly to keep ignoring this issue. This issue is one that we need to start taking seriously. A lot of people in the comments, a lot of people commenting, saying that not enough is being done, and we need more to tackle this issue. An issue that is taking lives, ruining families, and tearing apart communities. This issue is a very serious issue, and we need to start taking it seriously. More lives are being lost, no action is being taken, and we will continue to advocate for that change to be taken. As I said, we will work cooperatively with New South Wales Police, with the government, with whoever is willing to work with us to combat this problem. We no longer want to see young people being stabbed, young people brawling, leading to deaths, and young people's lives being taken viciously and brutally. We've seen this uptrend, and we want to make it a downtrend, and we want to flatline this. We're also looking to introduce to the New South Wales Police Force an idea, a proposal to ensure that a task force is established into youth crime, youth gangs and youth violence, knife carrying culture here in New South Wales, as they have recently done in Queensland. This issue is becoming an alarming issue, and as I speak here today, I'm absolutely heartbroken for those families that have lost their loved ones. We know how it feels. Our condolences, our sympathies, and our prayers are with you who have lost their loved one in casino and who continue to fear for their lives, of those two 18 and 19-year-old who are currently in hospital fighting for their lives. We're sending an urgent message to the communities, to New South Wales government, to the police, and to the federal government. Action needs to be taken. There needs to be acknowledgement. We can no longer continue on acting like this isn't an issue here in New South Wales and across Australia. My final message to everyone is we need to work together. A community, people, and power will ensure our young people aren't taking those paths, committing those crimes, and taking those lives. It starts at home and it continues within the community. That is our strong message. Early intervention, prevention, and education will ensure our young people are living in a safe, cohesive, and concise environment as we move forward. We are hoping that the community and those abroad hear our urges and hear our calls for action in terms of knife violence, and youth crime. Isolated to these two incidences, we do need to see action. I would like to just indicate that authorities are still investigating the incident in Redfern. Anyone with information are urged to contact Crime Stoppers on 1300 333 000 or visit the New South Wales Crime Stoppers website. I'd like to thank you all for joining me here today, and I hope that we all take a positive step forward. No more ignoring what is currently happening, and no more lives being lost to violence. Time to stand up as a community, as a collective, to combat this problem. We'll continue to advocate, we'll continue to ensure that our next generation's lives are preserved. That is it from me, and I'd like to thank you all for joining this, and keep up to date with our future updates on these issues, and action and intervention to come. We'll be out there in the Redfern communities and in the casino communities in the coming days and the weeks, to support those communities and to see what needs to be done to support those communities. That is our promise, and we're here today, we're speaking, and we'll continue to speak until this violence ends and until we see action. Thank you very much.